It's 378,000 this property could potentially bring in. So here I am with Mona, who's actually a buyer's agent here in Marbella. And yeah, she specializes in a lot of properties when it comes to 3 bedrooms upwards. So you said you're a buyer's agent. What, again, in England, it's quite different because there's not really buyer's agents like in the UK. So
Yeah.
what exactly is a buyer's agent?
Because most of our clients are foreigners and they buy holidays, homes or investments. So they don't know the process here. So buyer's agents help out from the process of search, selection, to the purchase with lawyers, mortgages, currency transfers, all of these things we handle in our agency. So it's not just to open up doors, and show houses. It's much more than that. So and this house has different names on the doors. And all of the bedrooms it's 5 bedrooms, all en suite.
All en suite, okay, that's nice.
Yeah, and you have access to the beautiful gardens and terrace with the view, which is super appreciated.
Yeah, that's nice. Even has a TV as well. So this property, what is it going for on the market right now? What's the active price?
It's asking price is 2.29.
Okay, 2.29. Okay.
Yes, but I'm sure there are some room for negotiations.
I think before it was a bit higher, but they might have just come down in the price a bit. Because I think it was 2.6 originally, wasn't it?
Yes, exactly.
Okay, 2.6,
exactly. The owners really want to sell because they have had it as a business for a long time. So it's been around 80% occupancy for the rentals.
Occupancy, wow.
Yes, and really well graded in TripAdvisor.
Wow, so what is it going per night? I think you said per room, it's going at what price?
Yes, 300 euros per room.
So 300 euros per room, and there is 5 rooms, so that's 1,500 per night.
Yes.
Wow, 1,500. When we calculate our occupancy, we always do it at 70%. So 1,500 times 70%, which is 21 days out of 30, that's 31.5k. So this one's probably been doing more. So times that by 12, that's 378,000 this property could potentially bring in. So this can be a lucrative opportunity for, overseas investors who actually want to invest in a property like this. 378,000, wow.
Absolutely. And also when we go downstairs and you can see the gardens, the pool, private pool, and also the facilities it has, we can do weekly rentals that gets it up higher when you rent out to families that are, big families, because renting out room by room is a little bit different type of business, of course.
Different business for sure.
Yes, let's go and check it out.
In the UK, we have, we called HMO license. So you need a HMO license to rent room by room by room in certain areas, and certain areas it's not easy just rent out room by room. So how is it like in Marbella? Is it the same rules that apply? And also, is there restrictions in terms of where you can run Airbnbs?
I am not specialized within Airbnb and that type of rentals, but I know that in Marbella you have to have a touristical license to be able to run this type of business, even if it's an apartment. So the houses need to qualify, the properties need to qualify with certain rules to be able to be having guest share term. And as we go downstairs, you will see there is kind of like a lobby with a desk where they have received the clients or the tenants. So you do have to have some qualifications met to be able to run it as an Airbnb or a hostel or a bed and breakfast. The classical houses, they have good space.
Yeah, they do.
And that's kind of the nice thing, because the new builds, they are very small in bedrooms. They're really nice, but a lot of people appreciate this type of space
of course,
when they go on vacation.
That's quite interesting, because I've noticed the classical theme. Is that quite common in Marbella, or did they tend to be like a lot more modern villas?
I mean, what I find a lot right now is that they renovate classical houses. They make it totally modern all through, but they keep the structure and the roof, and it gives it this very special charm, and it applies both to the older clientele and the new younger clientele, which is really nice. But I do myself see that we are going towards a more modern,
yeah, I can imagine,
white boxes type of properties more and more. And they, of course, they rent out much better as well.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. But in terms of increasing value, because a lot of people, when they buy properties, they want to try and increase as much value as possible. How can one add value to this property?
Yeah, exactly. And the thing is that when it comes to plot sizes, this is quite big. It's 1,500 meters in plot size, and they have built 550 square meters on this plot. So it's already you know, it's already in the end. There is no more to build. But if you would purchase a property with a plot like this. Normally they probably build 250, 300.
Wow.
Then you add a second level.
Okay.
And then you make, you make more, and you can list the property for sale for a higher price.
I see.
But this house has already met its potential, and it's really nice in the way of how they have the high ceilings and they have, used the space.
I think you said the property's been on the market for about 3 months.
Yes.
Is that quite common for big properties like this to be on the market for a long time?
Yes.
Okay.
So the difference towards the rest of the Europe, I think, the Northern Europe and probably towards the UK, is that things sell much faster.
Yeah, I see that,
when you put a property out, the buyer is normally a local person who knows, okay, I'm going for that street, my kid's going to that school.
Yeah.
For holiday homes, it's much different. So for agents like us, we see a purchase or a sales period for around 9 months to 1 year.
Wow.
Yeah, especially for bigger properties like these type of villas. Because just to reach out to the clientele takes time.
Wow.
And then when people come to visit, they normally fly over from another country.
Yeah.
So we don't do open houses and have specific time for viewings for clients. We just do it on request.
Okay, that's interesting.
So the property is normally out on the market for a longer time.
That's interesting. You mentioned open houses. Is that something that's quite common? And does it rapidly increase the chances of you being able to sell the property?
Absolutely. Open houses makes it for us to get to know the properties, to be able to feel it, and I want to give the feeling to the buyer, because the buyer comes and wants to embrace, the property. It's not like a seller. The seller is done.
Exactly.
They are they want to leave. They want to sell the house and leave. But the buyers are really happy to be able to understand. Okay, what can I do with this property? How can it grow? Or so for me to see it in an open house and be able to talk about it is very valuable.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
So that is great, actually.
So how is it also like? What's the process like if there's an overseas investor who was interested in buying a property like this? How difficult is it? Are there certain things that they need in terms of finances? Like, is it like mortgage? Are mortgages easy to get? Like, what sort of things they need to consider?
So for me, in average, I would say that I work with a client during 2 years. From the start, they don't know anything about the properties and the areas. Have to go through the areas, for them to find the specific area they want. So, and then a mortgage period, I think it's around 2-3 months. So from start to the end where they get their house delivered, it takes around 1.5 years actually. So in that sense, we don't really, in that sense, we don't really have the luxury of closing fast. There are some investors actually that work very fast. They only look at the numbers and the location.
That's interesting.
Yeah, and those are, of course, easier to work with.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
We recently had actually a big restaurant chain owner from Sweden.
Oh, wow.
That came to Marbella and bought a house with me.
Wow.
And then they opened up their restaurant. And now they're moving on to another location to open the next one and the next one. So it's really fun also to work like that.
Yeah, I can imagine. So those overseas investors, do they tend to have it just like for holiday homes, or is it like investment purposes?
They start with actually using it themselves. When they're coming and going. Just because the rental prices here are crazy.
Wow.
They're really high, and it's really nice for someone who owns a property to be able to rent it out and make money on it.
Wow.
So investors usually buy their property, they live in it in the beginning, and then they rent it out. So they don't stay for the long term. Yeah.
Okay,
so
that's
that they
interesting.
make money on their investment.
So are they like, I assume like in the UK, there's different type of mortgages, a buy-to-let mortgage, there's a residential mortgage.
Yes.
Okay.
So we don't really have that here.
Okay.
We don't have buy-to-let mortgages. The banks are really, really strict with giving mortgages here.
Wow.
And I think for us, it has created a really lucrative market because most of the buyers are cash buyers.
Oh, wow.
And it makes, I mean, these houses normally don't go with mortgage. They are bought cash.
Wow.
So and that makes the market very strong. Wow. So when we have downfalls, like for example in the big cities, Barcelona, Madrid, we don't see it here. We don't feel it. So investors are really, really safe within their investments here in Marbella.
Okay.
You know, they don't have the price drops.
So would you say Marbella is probably one of the best places in Spain to invest?
Definitely, for sure. I mean, in the world, I've seen that Dubai and Marbella share top range, top place for being the best investment and holiday home place to be in. And also to compare to Dubai, not to be too cocky, but in Dubai you have buildings with 300 apartments, 400 apartments. So you're always, for me, I feel like you have always more risk. Here, they are not allowed to build high buildings.
Okay, that's interesting.
So you have only urbanizations with smaller,
Wow.
with smaller apartment buildings, and that makes it more attractive and lucrative.
Basement floor. So this property is how many? Is it 4 floors?
It's 3 floors.
3 floors. Okay.
Yeah. So we come in exactly where there was a bedroom, 2 bedrooms.
Yeah.
And then you have the main floor that has the access to the pool. And then they have built an extra floor, and there's actually 2 bedrooms hiding in the back here. Wow. So you can use it as a separate apartment to rent it out. And that's very attractive as well for people that are coming, working maybe for 6 months here.
Of course.
Working from home. The new nomad lifestyle is very, very popular right now. So, so I mean, the rental prices in Marbella are quite high for houses like this.
I can see that,
And just to be able to rent something like this for a little bit cheaper than paying for the whole house and divide it up is also very, very good.
Oh, wow. You see, when it comes to investing in Marbella, it seems like the cash flow can be very, very good. But how about the capital appreciation? Like, let's say, for example, you're buying a house for, let's say, 500,000 euros. In 10, 20 years, is the value likely to increase, or is it likely to stay around the same?
I think that's kind of have to do with the market. And right now the market is quite like all-time high. This is how I feel when being in Marbella for 7 years, working with real estate very actively for 4.5 years. I feel that right now we are a little bit on all-time high in prices, especially for villas, houses that are in attractive locations, must say. Because if you go up inland, you can get a lot of stuff cheaper, but then the rental is not, as high demand on, of course. So I would say that you do definitely need to look long term if you want to also get some profit on your. But there is another way also to do it that I work a lot with new builds, Offplans.
Oh wow.
And they are not built yet.
Oh wow, of
so
course.
What investor does is that they pay a down payment in early stages of the maybe it's not even built yet. Or the construction is not started yet. So they pay a down payment around 30-40%.
Oh wow, okay.
To the developer. And then you wait 1.5 years. And when you get delivery, you're on the whole purchase price, not only on the 30%, on the whole purchase price, you have had a profit of 25%.
Wow.
So then you can just cash it out, resell it, and have the 25% on only your 30% investment.
Wow.
Which this is one of my specialties that I help clients with. So if that would be interesting in the future.
I think that sounds amazing, to be honest, because I feel like when a lot of people are looking at properties, they're not just looking at the aesthetics, they're looking at the numbers, as you said. So people buying off plan, again, probably not a lot of people talk about buying off plan abroad. I think there's a big buzz around buying in Dubai off plan, but Marbella, I haven't heard many people actually speak about buying Marbella off plan. So I think that could be something that's actually quite interesting, especially the numbers that you're talking about.
Absolutely. I think most of the developments here are already sold out 6 months into construction.
Wow.
And then the structure is not even up.
Wow.
So, and I think the clientele that are really comfortable with buying Offplan, they're Nordics.
Okay.
A lot Nordics, to be honest.
Wow.
And then we have Belgium, Holland. So these countries are quite fast on purchasing Offplan.
Yeah.
But then we have the more traditional buyers that really want to see and feel the properties before they invest.
Of course, that's interesting. This is almost like another lounge stroke. You're dying.
Yeah, it's like you have your own apartment down here, really. Yeah. So here you have a big bedroom.
Okay, wow.
That's en suite.
Wow, so 5 en-suites, okay.
And then we have another space over there that we could use as extra bedroom, but they have it as storage right now.
Wow.
With a laundry area. So, I mean, it's not so attractive to go in
there.
Yeah, so
that's fine. Off-plan developments that are happening in Marbella, can you give us like some examples of interesting ones that, you know, people may be quite interested in?
Yes, absolutely. The one that is really on everyone's mouth right now, the word is going, is Design Hill Marbella.
Okay.
And this development is not only a development, it's like a village.
Wow.
So they are building a high-end luxury village on top of a mountain.
Wow.
And they are actually aiming for taking the whole beach side or the port, Puerto Banús, luxury, attractive, tourist dragging up to the hill.
Wow.
And do it over there and like compete against the port in Marbella, which is a very difficult one, but I think that would be a super nice investment for a little bit more high-end clients that are normally used to maybe buying in the US or in Dubai. And they like branded residences.
Wow. So when you're talking about the numbers, I think previously you said that it can increase potentially by up to a third of what they actually put down, or can you give numbers?
I think 25%, okay, 25%. I would say is a good number, because then you are feeling like that you have made a good investment. Of course, you can get higher if it's a very boutique development, very sought after. And there is not a lot of units to fight about. Okay. So and also that the developer not continue building.
Of course.
Because if they are continuing building, then you are always competing with the resale. With the developer.
Of course.
So like this, definitely 25%, I would say, with guarantee. And for higher numbers, we do need to look after very specific units. Of course.
Well, honestly, it's been a pleasure you showing me around, and I think anybody who's interested in, I guess, buying in Marbella, you know, looking for opportunities in Marbella, I think you're definitely the person to go to. So obviously on that note, I would like to thank Mona for being here, but also at the same time, if you're somebody who's interested in buying in Marbella, investing in Marbella, and you want somebody to handhold you from start to finish, there's no better person than Mona. So where can they find you?
Thank you so much. Yes, so I am here based in Marbella, but I work from Malaga towards Sotogrande, Cadiz, the south point of the coast. So we will share my details with you, and also through you. It will be super nice that we can continue staying in touch.
For sure, definitely.
Thank you so much for introducing me to all of this as well, and to YouTube and all of the, marketing. I need that. Thank you so much. Thank you, guys.
Well, thanks for getting to the end of the video. As always, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. And if you're interested in potentially investing in Marbella, or you want further information, feel free to drop me a DM. My Instagram is _EZBuyProperty, and I can put you in touch with Mona.